As more SaaS companies rush to brand themselves as AI-driven, the market is growing skeptical. Buyers, media, and even investors are starting to push back, asking for proof, not just buzzwords. My guest today is Stamatis Astra, co-founder and chief business officer of Intelligent Relations, and he says this reckoning is overdue. His company blends AI and human expertise to help brands scale outreach and build trust, and he's here to explain why AI washing is risky and what real value looks like on this bonus episode of The Business of Tech. Well, Stamatis, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, I'm interested in talking to you because you've been thinking a lot about the way people are doing communications, PR, all around AI right now. And one of the things that's really been fascinating for me to watch is more and more companies, particularly the SaaS ones or the tool vendors, are rushing to brand themselves AI, right? I mean, everybody has slapped AI on that. Buyers, media, even the investors are starting to get a little bit skeptical on this. So I really would like to get a sense of how do you believe this AI washing is risky, and how do you want vendors and brands to approach it?
So let's define it first of all. I think AI has a couple of things we have to understand. The first one is the generative AI. We're very familiar with it. We put a text on ChatGPT, we get a text back. This is just creating content. Let's put it this way. The second part is the back end. It's pretty much version 2.0 of big data. We used to have big data. Now with AI, we can analyze it better. We can do summary of millions of content. We can analyze it. So everything on the back end that can use AI to give us better data, better summary is very important. And the third part is the new stuff, the agents, the secret agents that nobody knows what that means. But what it means is that you have different types of AI models that they, in theory, talk to each other, and they can do the job by themselves. So those are the three things, and 90% right now of the applications are in the generative AI. So they just create, something. They write your resume, they write a press release, they write a product catalog. You ask a question, they give you some answers. That's where we are. The big challenge is, can the agents start doing the work themselves? And that's the big leap of technology we are right now.
So how are you advising your brands to consider the way they talk about this? Because everyone wants to have AI on their branding and as part of their messaging. Most of it isn't real. And most of it, as you say, a lot falls into that generic, just generative AI bucket versus specific agents, and none of us can actually tell if anything's working on an agent front. How does a brand break through that noise, and what's the right way to message it?
Well, be honest. You got to be honest. You cannot BS your way through this. Even the huge companies. The CRM companies, the sales forces of the world, the e-commerce companies, everybody's trying to figure this out. So if you're a small company and you're using a little bit of AI with some models, if you have a team that is reviewing your data and giving better customer responses to people, just highlight what you're doing. Don't try to say AI powered and all these big words if you're not. You can do a little bit of agent stuff. For example, what we are doing is we are able to pick up who the user of our platform is, exactly what they do. One agent is going to draft a press release. The other agent is going to send it to the marketing department. He's going to approve it. He's going to go to the legal department. That is going to be approved. He's going to find the journalists. A different agent find the journalist. He's going to do all that and then send it out to the media. That's if you can do things like that, just highlight it on a common sense approach. if you have a great customer support bot that knows knows the phone number, knows the product ID that the customer ordered, can see if there was a problem with the delivery, can do all that and present all that information, highlight it, make simple video instructions that you can put that on on Instagram, on any place that you can, 30 seconds on less. Just show people tangibly what you have done with AI, instead of just saying we are AI powered X.
Well, I'm going to use you as an example because I know intelligent relations leans a lot on AI. How are you helping measure real results like ROI, media pickup, journalist engagement? Like, how do you back your own AI claims with measurement?
That's the beauty of AI or the curse. You can measure everything. You can really see everything that is done. To us, really, the real true measure is engagement by the user. If we see that the user is responding to the automatic emails, to the automatic responses, to the automatic ideas that AI is bringing them, we prompt them, here is a story your brand should follow. You should pitch the following journalist today about this story if you want to be in the news. If nobody is clicking on that email, if nobody is clicking on that alert, we got a problem. So at the end of the day, engagement of the user is our number one success metric.
So it seems like the metrics are actually the traditional ones, right? Because I would think that engagement has been the metric since day one. How different are the current metrics that you're looking on based on AI?
I think the fundamental of again, what's your business? If you are a SaaS business, the fundamentals are the same. Churn, new users, engagement, growth. Those haven't changed. AI is just another tool. 20 years ago, we used to have only Yahoo, and all of a sudden Google came up, and we had a better way of searching things and doing email and all that. Still, we have open rate. I mean, we're still looking at those metrics. It's the fundamental of the business is the same. AI is just a new tool set that we have to figure out and make our life easier, and make not our life, but make our customers' life easier.
We'll be right back after this message. Support for the show comes from ScalePad. Ever feel like you're doing all the work, but no one sees it? That's the reality for a lot of MSPs. You're putting out fires, chasing spreadsheets, juggling client requests. But when it's time to show value, crickets. That's where ScalePad comes in. Trusted by over 10,000 MSPs, ScalePad solutions help you turn invisible effort into visible impact. Pulling together the tools you already use, from reporting, quoting, compliance, and asset planning, into one easy platform. So instead of chasing details, you're leading smarter conversations. Because doing great work is one thing, getting credit for it, that's where the real business growth happens. ScalePad helps you show value, build client trust, and lead with confidence. Learn more at scalepad.com/Dave. And we're back. Now, I'm really curious because one of the areas that critics have focused on is the idea that AI-driven content, and that could extend all the way out to PR tools, risk commoditizing that communication. Like, how do you respond to concerns that you're commoditizing and devaluing the nuance by using AI?
You will never replace human creativity, originality, critical thinking with AI. If you think you can do that, you lost already. There's no way. So what AI can do, it can make, it can show you the data really fast, can make the connections really fast, and put it in a nice silver plate in front of you. We have the option for people to send the pitches or the press releases straight to the media without their approval. Some people are very comfortable with that. Some people are not. They want to have a human in the loop. But at the end of the day, this is what I say to people, is that we use AI to make the execution time much faster. You still are going to spend most of your time on thinking and strategy. You as a brand have to think, what is the message you want to say to the media? How can you be bold? 99% of the businesses are not sought after the media. They seek the media. Only the top 1%, they have specific correspondents that they follow them. The rest of us, they're like, we try to get someone to listen to our story. You have to spend time on what is going to be your strategy, how you're going to be bold. Do you want to pick a fight? Do you want to be nice? What is the DNA of the spokesperson? Those are the things that you have to be different. Journalists want data. Journalists want bold ideas. Journalists want, why you make decisions. Those things, you can put them as prompts and as ideas, but those are the things that AI will never do. AI will give you some inspiration. AI will give you the trending stories that you should follow. AI will give you, this is the best journalist, in this media that you should pitch. He moved or he changed job. Here is his new job title. That's what AI can do. And it's much faster. And we couldn't do it before. But again, human originality and creativity is going to be the crown.
Gotcha. You said a lot in there that's really interesting about messaging, and I can make it very tangible for listeners. I get a lot, as you might guess, as a podcaster, I get a lot of pitches. And I can very much tell now that many of them are AI driven because there's a very much a shoehorned opening to, hey, I listened to this episode and you said this thing. You now must talk to my guest. And you can actually see the format exactly. Knowing, by the way, that's just me getting a lot of these pitches. And I know that's definitely not coming from your tools, right? Necessarily. Give me a little sense about how you're advising clients to make sure they don't fall into that trap of, oh, it looks really good, but then you're actually having the worst response on the other side because the user can tell. How do you guide clients through that process?
Well, you got to give some tangible things to the journalist. We have sent millions of pitches out. Again, AI helps us understand what is the best response rate, and we try. It's like email marketing. I say this a lot, but public relations is no different than sales. You have to convince an editor, a producer, a journalist to cover your brand for free. That's what public relations is. And if you just do a template email, you copy paste email, is not going to work. The same way when someone is sending you an email about a new payroll system, that you're like, no, thank you. But if someone says to you, look, I know you are using X, I know you probably spent Y, here is somehow you can save money, you probably say, wait a second, let me take another look. Same thing with the journalist. If someone says, hey, I saw your podcast about the managed service audience, my guest can give specific ideas, 1, 2, 3, let's just chat, or maybe there's a better chance of just opening the email and reading it. It's comes back to the same old, sales manual that we had for the last 20, 30 years. Is sometimes, there's no, you have to be methodical and systematic. It's like going to the gym. You got to do the work.
And sometimes the classics are classics for a reason. I'd love to hear a positive version of this. Tell me a little bit, like a specific example where you've got a system called Preston, I know that work with. Talk to me a little bit about like a specific example where you've helped them scale outreach while still balancing that trust and engagement need.
Yeah, I think we have a client. They are both a B2B and a B2C company in the privacy space. They're targeting individuals to protect their identity and privacy, and companies for their business, for their employees. And what we have done and we're great is, create those relationships with the journalists with highly relevant timing and personalization. So we are there's a lot of breaches. There's a lot of things on the news about authentication and privacy. And then we were able to say to the journalist, here is what happened. Here is some specific data that they cannot just Google. Here is some, bold information that of what a company can do right now. And the important thing is keep following up with the journalist. Keep that relationship going on. If they open the email, if they responded negatively or positively, again, our system knows that. We're able to prompt them again slowly and timely. This client were able to be featured in the New York Times, and they have become a source. That's the goal, to become a source to the journalist. So the journalist says, hey, I know there is a authentication question or there's a breach. He is the expert that I want to talk to. That is the goal. And again, by having everything in one platform, everything it's easy to manage and see and report. You're able to get to that success level.
Do you worry about that scenario where you end up having bots talking to bots? Like the element of like PR professionals and outreach are using their bots and journalists are using their bots, and we get into a world where it's just bots talking to bots. Do you think about it in those terms?
Yeah, and I think it's already happening. I think a CEO writes 3 bullets. He puts it on ChatGPT. He says, write me a 3-page memo. He sends the memo to 3,000 employees, and the employees put it on ChatGPT and say, put that 3-page memo, make it 3 bullets. It's happening. It's happening already. Again, I just, I've been around. I have seen a lot of changes of technology. We have been talking again about, call it big data. Think of all the changes we have gone through. Emails and search engines and the cloud computing and all that. I believe on the human ingenuity and innovation, and that will come from us. I think when bots talk to bots, it's just going to be noise. It's the same way that you get spam email. I don't think it will be any different.
So, based on that, I'm then curious. Like, what are you looking for the changes that might happen in the next 2 years or so? I don't want to ask you 5. That's far too far. But like what do you think is coming in the next 2 years that we ought to be watching for?
I think number one is going to be cost. I think that is going to be the biggest change. Things are going to be much cheaper to make. So, for example, to create a database 10 years ago, you used to have manual people go through the list, do all that. It cost you $5 to $10 million to create a solid database. Right now, you can do this with AI for 50 to 100,000. I think things like that are going to go down to 5,000 in the next 2-3 years. I think the processing power, the cloud computing, the access, all this access is going to be sorted out, what we can touch and what we cannot touch. And I think it is going to be much cheaper for engineers to use the AI and make those agents, make those systems talk to each other much cheaply and much cheaper and much faster.
And as always, we unlock the opportunity right there at the end, because that's the services opportunity. Stamatis Astra is the co-founder and chief business officer of Intelligent Relations, where he leverages his experience as a venture capitalist and startup builder to drive growth through their AI-enabled PR platform, Preston. Stamatis, this has been really interesting. If people are interested in reaching out, learning more, what's the best way to do so?
intelligentrelations.com.
There we go. You made it nice and simple. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed or followed on your favorite platform. It's free and helps directly. Give us a review too. If you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/MSP and you'll get access to content early. Or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Have a question you want answered? We take listener questions, send them in, ideally as a voice memo or video to question@mspradio.com. I answer listener questions live on our Wednesday live show on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you've got a comment or a thought on a story, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube, or reach out on LinkedIn if you're listening to the podcast. And if you want to advertise on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you again on our next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.